Hello, my name is Loeuille. I am an assistant professor at the Federal University of Pernambuco in Brazil. I will talk about the tribe Vernonieae, giving a brief overview of its morphology and diversity. The tribe is quite easily recognized because it displays nearly always alternate leaves. Its heads are homogamous and discoid. The involucre is usually multiceriate. The style is narrow with acute branches. Typically, most of the species display a cymose inflorescence, and there are some cases of syncephaly. It is secondary heads, where the heads are aggregated in a secondary order inflorescence. The tribe is basically pantropical, except for the genus Vernonieae, who can reach the south limit of Canada. There are two main centers of diversity. The first one in Brazil and the second one in tropical Africa, including Madagascar. The tribe is currently divided into 18 subtribes for 134 genera. There are nearly more or less 1,200 species. This is probably a very low estimate, and maybe the number probably is between this and 1,400. Around 60% of the diversity is found in the New World, and then in Africa in a lesser degree in Asia. The traditional distinction between New World Vernonieae and Old World Vernonieae is quite handy, since most of the subtribes are exclusive to one of them. In the New World Vernonieae, we have 13 subtribes. The three largest ones are Lepidoploinae, Lycnophorinae, and Vernonieae. Lepidoploinae is the largest one, with the two largest genera of the tribe, Lepidoploa and Nascingentus, both of them with around 140 species. The third genera is in size in the tribe is Vernonieae, with around 80 species. As you can see, there are quite a lot of small genera, monotypic or with only 2 or 3 species. And most of the subtribes are very small indeed, like monotypic Stocasinae, Mesentophorinae, Trichosporinae. The Old World Vernonieae are divided into 5 subtribes. The largest one is Erlangeinae, with 31 genera and around 158 species, followed by Centropalinae and Gymnantheminae. As you can see, there are also a lot of monotypic genera. What are the main morphological characters of Vernonieae? The involucre is multiceriate with gradate, usually imbricate scarce phyllaries. The corolla is actinomorphic, with a tube usually broadened above, and the lobes are longer than wide. There are some exceptions, where some of the lobes are larger than the other ones, which is characteristic of Stochisia or Elephantopus. The anthers are calcareate, very often tailed. They have an apical appendage which is flat, sometimes glandular or with sclerified cells. The style is highly conserved in the tribe. It is narrow with two branches which have acute apices. The sweeping hairs are acute and they grow below the branching point. The base of the style is glabrous and frequently has a basal node. The typical Cypsela has a biseriate pappus composed of capillary bristles. The outer series is smaller than the inner one, and the Cypsela walls contains resiniferous idioblast, putative synapomorphy of the tribe. This is a typical Cypsela and pappus of what defined the genus Vernonieae in the past, and all the satellite genera were created from departure from this Cypsela and pappus. The most recent phylogeny, published by Sterling Killey this year, is based on 4 or 5 molecular regions and in a very high number, the largest sampling. Since the first phylogenies, Di Stephanus, genus from Madagascar and southern Africa, with yellow flowers and trinavate leaves, stands outside of the clade of Vernonieae and probably should be considered as a distinct tribe. Therefore, the sister group of Vernonieae is a small tribe, Moquiniae, from Brazil, with only 2 species. Neither Old World Vernonieae or New World Vernonieae are monophyletic. The Old World Vernonieae forms the paraphyletic group at the base of the tree. The taxonomic sampling is quite low, but none of the subtribes except Esperomaninae are monophyletic. They are first clade with Gymnonteminae and Lindsayinae, so an Afro-Asian clade, but also interesting is the position of Pleurocarpia from Australia and the Hawaiian Esperomaninae. The rest of the African Vernonieae are in a distinct clade, where neither Centropalinae or Erlanginae are monophyletic. The New World Vernonieae are not monophyletic due to the position of 2 Asian trees, Strobocalix and Talmunia, which is one of the early diverging clade of New World Vernonieae. Also found in the same clade 2 small subtribes, Pacoenae and Mesontophrinae, area of Pacoena edulis. They are American species who displays pollen and chromosome number characteristics of African Vernonieae. In the same clade, you also have Stochisia from southeastern USA and the Mexican Lebaldinae and Eremosis. The rest of New World Vernonieae forms 2 well-defined clades, one with Elephantopinae, like Elephantopus, Strucium, and Lepidoploinae, which is the largest subtribes, and another well-supported clade with Lycnophoinae, Vernonieae, and Cassini. Here is an example of a red flower in Cresta. Only 2 species of that genus has red flower. This is quite uncommon in the tribe. Now I will talk about some of the most important genera in the tribe, starting in the Old World Vernonieae and with Gymnanthemum. This is a ill-defined genus simply because it is mostly based on the woody nature of its members. It has around 45 species, mostly in Africa. Some of its species also occur in Southeast Asia. Beyond the woody habit, there are very few characteristics to define the genus except the obtuse phylaries, which do not have any median costa or keel. Asclepias from the subtribe Centropalinae. They are small herbs with deciduous pappus, and they have a putative synapomorphy, which is a setulae found in the cypsela, which are deeply segmented and unichrome. There are 33 species from India and Southeast Asia. Botrioclinae with 30 species exclusive to Africa. There are some good characteristics like the scarious margins of the phylaries. The pappus usually is absent or uniseriate with a few caducous setae, and the cypsela nearly always have a tuberculate trichome, which is unique in the tribe. Baccharoids from the subtribe Lindseyinae, which is a very distinctive genus by its inner phylaries with membranaceous and frequently colored margins. The corolla also has a very long tube, and the lobes are short and erect. There are 30 species, mostly restricted to tropical Africa. So Vernonia now is reduced to a very small number of species, around 12 species from USA, southern Canada, and Mexico. They are perennial herbs with decumbent bases. Their inflorescence is cymose, usually scorpioid. And 2 very important characters are the presence of glands in the anthers, which is quite uncommon, and the corolla lobes have resin ducts, which is a very good character, and 2 southern South America species of Vernonia probably do not belong to that genus anymore because they don't have this resin ducts, and this position is confirmed by preliminary results of phylogeny. Closely related to Vernonia is Vernonantuum, which also has a resin duct in the corolla lobes. It's a quite large genus. It's the 3rd one in the tribe with nearly 80 species from Mexico to southern South America. They are subshrubs or small trees, and a very good diagnostic character is the shape of the inflorescence, which is pyramidal and usually is a tarsoid. Another characteristic which might be helpful is the presence of basal node in the style. An example of a tree in the genus Vernonantuum. In Lepidoploinae, the 2 large genera Lepidoploina and Lesigianthus Lepidoptera first, 140 species from Mexico to southern South America. They are shrubs, herbs. Usually they have small heads, sessile. The inflorescence is cymose. There are no glands in the anter-appendages, and the style has a basal node. Lacingentous. There are perennial herbs too, but there are some woody members, rarely trillets. Savanna species frequently display a chilopodium, a strong rootstock. They have medium to large heads and usually they are pedunculate. The inflorescence might be simple or cymose. There are no glands in anter-appendages, and the style has no basal node. This is also a large genus with 135 species, exclusive to South America. There are lots of delimitation problems between these two genera, and in the phylogenies, neither is monophyletic. Neither of them is monophyletic. Piptocarpa. There are scandent shrubs or trees in the tribe Piptocarpinae. It's a very easy genus to identify. It has stellate trichomes, heads form a cluster in axillary or terminal position. Anthers are usually with scarified tails, and the style has a basal node. There are around 45 species in tropical South America, with a disjunct distribution between the Atlantic forest in Brazil and the northern part of South America. Finally, I choose to show this small genus of the subtribe Lycnophrinae, Prestelia. It has only 3 species, endemic from Brazil, and has a very peculiar habit, Colirosula habit, the same one than in Espeletia. The leaves have a semi-plexical sheath, and the syncephalium is pedunculate. And to finish with this picture of Lycnophora from Brazil, I would like to thank Mauricio and Gustavo to invite me to talk a little about this wonderful tribe. Thanks a lot.